Welcome to the first ever episode of the Only Overs Football Show. I'm Nick Ellis. I got my cousin Vance right here under me. Say hi, Vance.
Hi.
Okay. So, today we're just going to be talking about the Thursday night games that are happening tomorrow. We're only going to talk about three of them, like the three big ones. And then next episode, we're going to get into all the Saturday ones. So, week one, college football. Betting. Let's start with Oklahoma State versus Central Michigan. Both these teams were solid last year. Oklahoma State comes in ranked 12th in the country. They're minus 2,000 favorites. So, obviously, we're not going to be betting that. Not much money to win there unless you're rich.
You could throw them into a parlay just to say, screw it.
Yeah, that probably give you a couple extra dollars. They're favored by 22.5. The over-under is 59.5. So, looking at this game, Central Michigan was good last year. They're in the MAC, so take that for what it is. We love some MACtion. But they won 9 games last year, and they won a bowl game over Washington State, including winning their last 5 games of the season. They've been 21-11-1 against the spread since 2019, and they returned most of their offensive starters, including Lou Nichols, who led the FBS in rushing yards last year with 1,848. So it sounds like they're going to have a pretty good offense, at least they should. Just kind of a big step up in competition compared to what they played last year in the MAC. Oklahoma State, on the other hand, had a great year last year. They won 12 games along with the Fiesta Bowl over Notre Dame. That hurts.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that.
They've won 7 straight season openers, and they're 28. They've 28 for 29 against non-Power 5 teams. Last year they had an elite defense, and they return a decent amount of those of their offensive players as well. But looking at obviously with that being said, it sounds like they should dominate. But last year to open the season, they only beat Missouri State 23-16. And then they only beat Tulsa 28-23. So they did struggle early on in the season, even though they won most of those games. So take all that into account if you want. I don't know how relevant that is, but obviously same coach, a lot of the same players. They started off pretty slow last year, even though they were winning the games against lower competition.
I got a question.
Yep.
What was Oklahoma State against the spread last year?
I don't have that in front of me.
Oh, shit.
Thanks. Google it.
My bad.
Google it while I'm talking.
I got you.
So yeah, I think obviously Oklahoma State should be the much better team. Spencer Sanders, if he comes out and plays well, their quarterback, they should probably dominate. He did struggle at the end of the year, especially against Baylor. Started turning over the ball a lot more than he did during the season. But Central Michigan has a really good run game, and they might be able to control the clock a little bit, which would be good for the spread. So, what are we thinking here, Vance?
Massive spread. Oklahoma State sucks for what they did in Notre Dame.
Okay.
So, honestly, let's be real with this pick. We are going...
Oh, wait. Before you make your pick, we got 3 games today. If me and you disagree on any, I'm going to take a shot for everyone that we disagree on. But you have to say it first, because I already got mine written down.
Oh, well, my pick is being shown. Obviously not to win, because I'm not completely stupid. The spread, though, 21. That's huge.
It's at 22.5 right now.
Oh, shit. This says 21.5. Yeah, 22.5. That's a lot, especially for week 1. Obviously, anything can happen. Look at last week. Yeah. Everyone was like, "Oh, Nebraska's going to be this team," and then Northwestern, came out, beat them like I predicted. But I also thought there were some spreads that were going to be different. So anything can happen. But 22 is a lot, and I would take Central Michigan to cover.
Yeah, that's my pick as well. So I don't have to take the shot yet. Obviously, early in the season, it's really hard to tell. So many new players, everything's really different. Transfers and all that we don't know about. But I think their running game is still going to be good. Oklahoma State's defense is still going to be good. But I think they'll be able to maybe control the clock a little bit. I think early it's going to be close. And even at times, Central Michigan probably could be winning the game early. And then I do think it's going to be close to the spread. Like, I think Oklahoma State's going to get up, but hopefully they only win by like 17 or something. So I'm also taking CMU plus 22.5. Fire up chips, baby.
Do you want some interesting against the spread facts about these two teams?
Yeah.
The Chippewas, right?
Yep.
5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games overall. 4-0 in their last 4 games on field turf. Okay. They're 4-1 against the spread. Or no, that's the under. Don't worry about that. We're not worried about that. The Cowboys are 8-1-1 against.
We don't touch unders.
The spread. In their last 10 games on field turf. So both teams are very good on field turf.
So essentially, that didn't matter because
they're pretty good.
They both cover on field turf.
Both teams can't cover. That's the thing.
That's the tough part, that both the teams can't cover on the field turf.
Thing.
Somebody's O has got to go. Who's it going to be?
You see who's behind me. It's the Chips, baby.
Fire up. All right, so we're both going Central Michigan plus 22.5. So
yeah.
There we go. Next game. We're going. This is a big one. I think this is the most interesting game. Actually, I don't know. I do like Purdue Penn State, but me and you have pretty different opinions on this game. West Virginia versus number 17 Pitt. Pitt is a minus 310 favorite, favored by 7.5 points, over under 51.5. Both these teams have new quarterbacks, which is like a really big deal considering last year Pitt had Kenny Pickett. This year they have Keaton Slovis, a transfer from USC. Had a successful career over there, threw for over 7,000 yards and 58 touchdowns in his career there. Overall, Pitt is still returning a very good team. And then obviously West Virginia was not very good last year, but they added JT Daniels. So,
yes, sir.
Depending on what you think of JT Daniels, how much he's going to change that team. It was a weak team. I saw they had like the worst offensive line in the Big 12 last year, and they returned all 5 starters. So I said that as a bad thing. Vance said room for improvement.
That they got the experience down. They were just nervous last year. They're settled in. They've started a season 2. It's their year.
Yeah. So, I mean, this game to me, like, I just think overall Pitt just has a completely better team. I mean, JT Daniels probably is better than Keaton Slovis, but a lot of people are really high on him. Like, yes, they did lose Kenny and Jordan Addison, but they're returning 14 of 22 starters to a team that played great last year. So I'm taking Pitt. I think Pitt minus 7.5 is a great bet. I think they're going to beat the crap out of West Virginia. I guess it depends on JT Daniels. So.
JT, you see him. So the consensus for the public, right? 61% of the public is taking West Virginia to cover. I, on the other hand, am going to take West Virginia to win.
Oh. Oof. So we have very different opinions here.
Mountaineers.
So you're just really high on JT Daniels then?
You saw his video, right?
Talk about it.
Mountaineer Nation, let's ride.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
I mean, if they're gonna play that, but like pregame, I mean, yeah. If they don't play a pregame, I guess I'll just take them to cover.
So this is something that. Do you take this as a good thing or a bad thing, considering how bad West Virginia was? They were 6-7 last year.
Yeah, they lost a lot of their defense too.
They only returned 9
they got rid
starters.
Of the bad guys. Yeah, they got rid of the guys that suck.
So that's the thing. Like, is them only returning 9 starters good or bad for the team?
I think JT Daniels is going to rejuvenate that offense, but also the main thing is Kenny Pickett, and them losing their wide receiver, like. Their 2 best players. I mean, I don't think they're gonna just bounce back magically from that. They still might return a bunch of starters, but yeah, I mean, I do think their quarterback did a lot of work.
I agree with that, but I also think this Slavis dude's pretty damn good. So I think he's gonna be able to handle it. Not as much as Kenny Pickett, obviously. Kenny Pickett, first round draft pick in the NFL.
Come on, Kenny Pickett slinging it to Pickens now.
All right, hey, we disagreed, so I'm gonna take this disgusting shot of Jim Beam, some bourbon. Cheers.
When you said that Pitt was gonna cover, this is how I felt. I felt like getting up and walking away.
That was gross. All right, so I got Pitt minus 7.5. Vance has West Virginia straight up to win. So that's the bets for those. Last game we're covering for this Thursday slate. Penn State versus Purdue. This one's really interesting.
I'll be there.
Will you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I got tickets.
Nice. So we got Penn State minus 182 favored by 3.5 points. The over-under is 53.5. So for Purdue, obviously they got really hot at the end of last year. They won 5 of their last 6, including 2 top 5 wins. They got Aiden O'Connell, which a lot of people think he's going to be like a top 2-3 quarterback in the Big Ten potentially. So he should be huge for them. And against the spread, Jeff Brom, 20-8 as an underdog. It's pretty good. Penn State, on the other hand, they've pretty much dominated Purdue in recent history. Like, it's been pretty bad. I don't really think that has too much correlation to this game, especially with how much better I think Purdue's gotten and how much worse I think Penn State's kind of gotten throughout the years. They also have a good QB in Sean Clifford. They started off last year really hot, so if you're someone that takes that kind of stuff into account, like how they did at the start of last year compared to this year, they started off last year winning the first 5, and then they lost 6 of the last 8. They gained some players back from injury on the defensive line, a team that was already a really good defense. Only allowed 17.3 points a game last year. So, to me, it's Aiden O'Connell versus this defense that's supposed to be pretty solid. And how much do you really trust Purdue after how good they did at the end of last year?
I like Purdue, especially at home in night games. I mean, best example is what they did to Ohio State, which was just beautiful. Beautiful. But Aiden O'Connell, I mean, seasoned vet last year, had like 3,700 yards, 71% completion, 28 tutters. And he didn't even play the whole season. Like, I mean, it's kind of hard to bet against that, especially when they're at home. There's a blackout. The fans are blacking it out. It's going to be a tough game for Penn State. I'm taking Purdue straight up.
Yeah, Purdue in night games, big games, seem to perform pretty well. I do like their team this year. I think them beating like top 5 teams at the end of the year was a little bit of a fluke, but I do think they are a good team that can like probably be a ranked team at the end of the year. So yeah, I also like Purdue. I think I will bet their money line just because they're plus 150, but I'm going to take their spread. I do think this game's going to be really close. I'm not touching the over-under at all. It's just they do both have good quarterbacks. I could see it being a little bit of a shootout. Penn State is supposed to have a good defense.
Yeah, Penn State has a good defense. It's going to be low scoring.
And these are 2 like hard teams to really get a feel on. So
could go either way.
Yeah, I'm going Purdue. I'm going to take Purdue plus 3.5 as my bet. So we essentially had the same bet there, so I'm not going to take a shot because we bet on the same team. But yeah, first show.
If I'm taking Purdue money line, I'm taking them to cover too. So
yeah, so first show. Got some bets out there. We had a couple of different bets, just one game that we really disagreed on. But next show, we're going to do the rest of this college football slate for this week, for week 1. So we're going to have a lot of big games, obviously. The big one, Notre Dame, Ohio State, which I'll be at. And then, yeah, a lot of other really big games for us to talk about and dive into. So hopefully these bets help you out. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, subscribe, like, keep watching our stuff. Reach out, comment. We love to read comments. Let us know if we won your money, lost your money. You can be mean to us. It's okay. And yeah, hopefully we see you guys again.